The sound of her laughter still echoes in my mind, sharp, loud, and cutting right through the summer air like a knife I never saw coming. It was a bright, sunny afternoon at our annual family barbecue. Burgers were sizzling, music played softly in the background, and kids were running around the backyard with endless energy. To everyone else, it looked like the perfect family gathering, but for me, it became the day my own sister shattered my heart in front of everyone I loved. My name is Emily. I've always been the quieter sister, the one who listens more than she speaks, who shows up early to help set up and stays late to clean up. My older sister Lauren was the complete opposite. She was confident, outgoing, and married to Jake, a decorated Navy SEAL. She loved being the center of attention and never missed a chance to remind everyone how exciting her life had become. I arrived that day carrying a big bowl of fresh salad, hoping for a peaceful afternoon with family. The moment Lauren spotted me, her eyes sparkled with that familiar, mischievous glint. She raised her voice so the whole backyard could hear. "Oh my gosh, everyone, look who's here!" Emily finally made it. Still living that safe, quiet little life? When are you going to step out of the shadows and actually do something exciting like the rest of us? Her words landed hard. A few relatives chuckled politely. My parents gave awkward smiles. I felt my cheeks burn as I forced a small smile, trying to brush it off. But Lauren kept going. She laughed loudly and continued mocking my job, my single status, even the simple way I dressed that day. "Seriously, sis, you're always so serious and boring. Not everyone can land a hero like my Jake, right?" The laughter grew. I stood there, frozen by the picnic table, feeling completely exposed and small. In that moment, the sister I had supported for years was tearing me down, and no one said a word to stop her. My heart felt broken into pieces right there under the bright sun, but what I didn't know that day was that someone else was paying very close attention, and everything was about to change. I tried to laugh along at first, telling myself it was just Lauren being her usual dramatic self, but the words kept coming, each one sharper than the last. She painted me as the dull, uneventful sister who had never taken risks or achieved anything meaningful. Every chuckle from the family felt like another crack in my confidence. I excused myself and walked toward the far end of the yard, needing a moment to breathe. My hands were shaking. Tears threatened to spill, but I held them back with everything I had. The betrayal ran deep because it came from someone who was supposed to lift me up, not break me down. For as long as I could remember, I had been there for Lauren. When she struggled in college, I stayed up late helping her. When she planned her big wedding to Jake, I handled dozens of details so she could focus on being the bride. I celebrated her marriage and her life without envy. Yet here she was, humiliating me in front of our entire family, turning my quiet nature into something to laugh at. The pain felt overwhelming. I felt shattered, invisible, and utterly alone in a place that should have felt safe. Why did her opinion still hold so much power over me? Why did her laughter hurt more than any stranger's words ever could? As I stood there trying to pull myself together, a quiet strength began to rise beneath the heartbreak. I had never shared much about my own past with the family. Years ago, before settling into my current career, I had worked in a highly classified support role alongside elite special operations teams. The work demanded complete focus, discretion, and courage. That's where I earned my call sign, a name only a few people ever used. It represented the silent, steady presence I brought to missions, always there, always prepared, moving in the background to ensure success and safety. I never bragged about it. It was a private chapter of my life, a source of inner pride I carried quietly. But in that moment of pain, I realized I had been diminishing my own worth just to keep the peace. The realization hurt, but it also sparked something new inside me, a shift from deep sadness to a growing sense of self-worth. That's when I noticed Jake walking over. Lauren's husband, the tall, composed Navy SEAL, had been quietly observing from the grill. He stopped a few feet away and looked at me with focused eyes. In a calm but serious voice, he asked, "Emily, did they call you Shadow back then?" My heart skipped. The backyard noise seemed to fade into the distance. I nodded slowly. "Yes, That was my call sign. Jake's expression changed immediately. Respect flashed across his face, followed by something heavier, disappointment directed at his wife. Lauren, still laughing with a group nearby, had no idea what was coming. Until everything changed. Jake turned toward Lauren, his voice steady and commanding in that quiet way only someone with his experience can achieve. "Lauren, come here. Now." She walked over, still smiling and holding her drink, completely unaware of the shift in the air. "What's up, babe?" He looked at her, then at me, and back to her. The entire family had gone quiet, sensing the sudden change in energy. "I just heard your sister's call sign," Jake said firmly. "Shadow. You have any idea what that means?" Lauren blinked in confusion. "Call sign? Jake, what are you talking about?" He didn't raise his voice, but his words carried undeniable weight. "It means Emily spent years working in the shadows, supporting missions that men like me relied on for their lives. She was silent, precise, and incredibly capable. She never needed to boast about it. And here you are, laughing at her and tearing her down in front of the whole family like she's worthless." Lauren's face went pale. Her confident smile vanished in an instant. She tried to brush it off with a nervous laugh. "Come on, I was just joking around." "No," Jake cut in, his tone leaving no room for excuses. "You weren't joking. You were humiliating her. And I won't allow that. Not in our family." He looked directly at her, his voice calm but powerful. "Apologize. Now." The backyard fell completely silent. You could hear only the distant sound of children playing and the soft rustle of the American flag in the breeze. All eyes were on Lauren. Her cheeks burned red with embarrassment as her perfect image cracked right in front of everyone. She turned to me, her voice shaky and small. "Emily, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I had no idea about any of that. I shouldn't have said those things." For the first time, I saw real regret in her eyes. The sister, who had always been larger than life, suddenly looked small and exposed. The laughter she had sparked earlier had died completely. Jake gave me a respectful nod, his silent acknowledgement meaning more than any words could. In that moment, I felt seen and valued for who I truly was. I didn't need to fight back or raise my voice. The truth had done all the work. The justice I felt wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet, powerful, and deeply healing. As the barbecue continued, the atmosphere had completely shifted. Lauren stayed quieter for the rest of the day, avoiding the spotlight she once craved. For me, a heavy weight finally lifted from my chest. The pain of her words still lingered, but it no longer controlled me. Driving home that evening, I felt a profound sense of peace. Family can wound us the deepest because we trust them the most. But when someone tries to dim your light, your greatest strength lies in simply standing tall and letting your truth speak for itself. I no longer hide the parts of my story that made me strong, and I refuse to shrink myself to make others comfortable. If you've ever been laughed at or belittled by someone who was supposed to love and support you, remember this. Your worth is not defined by their words or their laughter. Sometimes, all it takes is one person recognizing your hidden strength for the entire room to fall silent. Quiet power has a way of revealing itself at exactly the right moment. Thank you for listening to my story. If it moved you, please share your own experience in the comments. And always remember, the ones who laugh the loudest sometimes learn the hardest lessons.